Today I'm going to talk about the crime of theft second in Alabama. And this particular crime can be committed a whole bunch of different ways. So I'm going to tell you some stories to illustrate different points about this law, so hopefully you'll be more educated about this particular criminal offense. So let's begin. Let's say that you have a friend, his name is Gil, guilty as hell, and he has a thing. He's a little bit of a jewel thief, he thinks. And in Huntsville, he sees on display at the Space and Rocket Center the Rocket Queen's, lady who's crowned Rocket Queen every year. The Rocket Queen's crown jewels are on display on a shelf at the Space and Rocket. So he goes over there, and sticky fingers that he is, he steals it. Well, the value of the jewels are $2,000. Theft. Second means that you've stolen something between a value of $1,500 and $2,500. Unfortunately for him, Officer Buster Chops is on the prowl, and Buster busts him. He goes to court where he loses, and he's in front of Judge Laura Norder. And Laura Norder says, well, the range of punishment for this, she correctly tells him the law, the range of punishment for theft second is from a year and a day to 10 years in prison, and your maximum fine is up to $15,000. But, Mr. Ezell, since it is your first offense, I'm going to go light. I'm going to give you a year and a day to serve, and I'm going to have you pay the fine. Well, poor old guilty Ezell is sentenced to prison. He serves his time at Limestone Correctional Facility, and when he gets straight out of Limestone, he decides, okay, I didn't do it right the first time, but I'd still like to get those stinking jewels. So he goes and consults with his lawyer, Malpractice again. Some of you may have met Malpractice, the lawyer. But anyway, he consults with Mal, and Mal says, well, hey, theft second specifically excludes property taken from the person of another, which is actually correct. So our friend Gil decides still want those jewels. Well, it so happens that Alabama, Huntsville, is having a Veterans Day parade, and the Rocket Queen is in the parade wearing those crown jewels. So Gil decides, hey, it's not theft second if it's taken from the property of another. So during the parade, he runs out and snatches the crown jewels off her head. Same crown jewels. They got them back the first time, $2,000. And because of what Malpractice had told him, because of what that lawyer said, he thinks, hey, I ain't guilty. I didn't do it. Unfortunately for him, what Mal forgot to tell him is that it isn't theft second, but it is robbery. And once again, Officer Buster Chops is on the prowl, and poor Gil doesn't get very far before he's busted. And if you use force, by the way, to commit a crime, that's robbery. So that's why he's charged with robbery, and old Buster incorrectly arrests him, and he's charged with that crime, and he goes in front of a judge. This time he goes in front of a judge named Celia Fate, and she seals his fate and sends him off to the penitentiary for a lot longer time. So that's the end of that story. But let's go on with story 3. And this time we have a friend, and her name is Miss Ida Nyatt. And Ida Nyatt is eating in Cracker Barrel, and hanging over the fireplace in Cracker Barrel is an old, beat-up, rusty shotgun. It doesn't work, it's just a crummy old gun. But it reminds her of one that her dear old grandpappy had, and so she excuses herself, pretends to go, to the bathroom or something, but she grabs sticks it under her long dress, runs out to the car, throws it in the trunk. Unfortunately for her, Buster's on the prowl again. She's busted. Buster charges her with theft second. She goes and calls that well-known lawyer that, like I said, some people may have hired, but she hires the well-known Malpractice, the lawyer. And Mal says to her, he says, well, this shouldn't be a felony. I mean, the value of the shotgun was only $25, and it was only $25. That little tag, they were going to sell it for $25. And he goes, let's go to trial. She goes to trial. Well, unfortunately for her, she's convicted. And the judge, who do we have? We have Judge Naylor. And Judge Naylor says, ma'am, there's another way the crime of theft second can be committed. And that is if you steal a firearm, shotgun, rifle, regardless of value, that's the crime of theft second. And the evidence is you did it, bam, you're guilty. She goes off to the state pen. This time we have another acquaintance. This lady's name is Miss Behaven. A similar kind of thing. Miss Behaven is over a friend's house. Miss Behaven has a bit of a drug problem. And a friend of hers has his bottle of oxycodone, legal for him. But she doesn't have a prescription. She's like, if I just take one, he won't notice. So she takes one pill. Unfortunately for her, her friend is a pill counter. He counts the pills. He calls the police. Officer Buster shows up, catches her with the pill. She admits she stole it. She thinks, I need a lawyer. Well, she goes, sees that lawyer, lawyer malpractice again, and maladvises her. He says, wait a second. One oxy, that ain't worth anywhere near $1,500. Let's go to trial. You can't be guilty. It's too low a value. Well, of course, Miss Behaven is guilty. And the reason she's guilty is, yes, there's another way that theft second can be committed. In this case, it can be committed if you steal a controlled substance regardless of the value. That's theft second. So she is guilty. Now we have one last story, and this one is a different fella. This is a friend of ours whose name is Upton. Upton No Good. And Upton, there's a magic show in town where Harry Whodunit is there, and he's prestidigitating and pulling rabbits out of hats and all sorts of stuff. He has a favorite rabbit, and that rabbit's he calls the rabbit Bugsy. Bugsy Siegel is, matter of fact, the name. And, Upton No Good was so impressed and thinks that rabbit is really cute and wonderful. So Upton hatches a plan to steal the rabbit. After the show, when the rabbit's in its pen, Upton goes and he reaches in there and he steals Bugsy Siegel the rabbit. Well, rabbits aren't worth a lot of money, and even though Bugsy's a really cute rabbit, he's only worth $10. Well, the law in Alabama for theft second says that if you steal livestock, again, it doesn't matter the value, but if you steal livestock, you're guilty of theft second. So, cattle rustlers and horse thieves, and, if you steal livestock, you're guilty. He's seen what happened with the other folks who hired that lawyer malpractice, so he decides to go to see a different lawyer. Lawyer down the street. This lawyer's name is Lou Pole. And Lou Pole says, we need to go to trial on this. He says, I think I can win it. Well, they go. The state is represented by a prosecutor named Hap Less, and they go to court. And at the end of the case, Lou Pole says to the judge, he says, Judge, a rabbit ain't livestock under Alabama law. He's right. The way that Alabama law defines livestock doesn't include rabbits and certain other animals. So, Lou Pole has gotten Upton No Good out of the jam. Upton No Good is free to go. So, here's the things that you need to take away from this. Of course, if you're charged with a crime, you need to get the best lawyer you can. The law itself can sometimes be tricky, and it can be a trap if you're one of the unwary. If you're in North Alabama and you're charged with a crime and you want our help, of course, we're happy to help you. Our phone number should be down there somewhere, I hope. And, of course, I'm Andy Siegel. I hope you liked this video. I try to do these educational videos regularly, so if you want to see more, just hit the subscribe. I practice here in North Alabama with my wife, Sandra Siegel. We're happy to talk to you if you've got a legal jam. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.